Hey, Push Run Nation, Dr. Dave here. Today we're going over a new shoe that I actually got in a couple weeks ago and have almost put on 100 miles on, but haven't done a first review video on. So I just want to go over the New Balance Fresh Foam X More Trail version 3. What I thought the ASICS Trabuca Max 2 was going to be the Super Max shoe of the year, this New Balance shoe is really going to give a push for its money. Let's go over some of the initial specs or things I like and a couple things I don't like, and see if any of you out there have tried this shoe, are thinking about trying it, or just what you think about it. These new Supermax shoes that are out there, which are the new monster truck shoes of the running industry out in the trails. So let's take a look at a couple things on here. First thing you're going to see is this huge midsole on her, or at least what looks like a big midsole. One of the good things about this shoe is that it has excellent support, lateral support. So when you're on the trails, you're going on different angled trails and your feet are tilting, your foot's actually being cradled inside the shoe very nicely, not just by the insole, but by this rubber layer that goes around your foot. So all of this that you see here on the side actually isn't the midsole. Some of it, the upper portion, is actually part of the support system, keeping your foot supported in laterally. Let's go from the upper to the lower. First, the upper is engineered mesh, very airy. See a lot of micro holes up here on the front. There's several different accent points on here, but they're all strategically placed on the shoe by the design engineers of the shoe to give you certain protection. So obviously you have some over your big toe here. You have a pretty nice toe plate on here. It's not stiff, but I know from running on trails going down hills, it does give a little bit more support to the front of the foot. So it's not going to be like the Brooks Caldera, which has a little bit stiffer toe plate on the shoe. This does have a kick plate where the outsole comes up in front of the toes. So if you're going to be kicking any toes, that's going to be giving you that protection. Let's take a look at the tongue. It's not a fully gusseted tongue. Probably about 3/4 in there. We do have a nice pull tab on the tongue. We have a nice pull tab on the rear. A lot of people don't like that. A little bit extra weight, but with the weight that's taken out of the shoe by the lightness of this new X More foam, they can add a couple more of these bells and whistles. But all of those do add a little bit of weight to this shoe. This definitely is not a shoe for a lighter person. So I'm 170 pounds right now, kind of fluctuate between 160 and 170. I'm at 70 inches tall, or 5 feet 10 inches. So this is the perfect shoe for me. Plus, at 61 years old and with some arthritis in my knees and hips, I definitely need the more cushioning. Lots of cushioning around the ankle here. Lots of padding in here. Nice heel plate, stiff. Get some flexibility on the cushioning on the back of the heel. The one thing I don't like on the shoe that a lot of the trail shoes are coming out with this year is a little bit metal clip on the front here that your gaiters can clip into. This shoe doesn't have any features that allow you to put a gaiter onto. So you can clip it under the bottom of the shoelace, but there is no Velcro attachment on the back that a lot of the trail shoes are coming out with this year. There's a lot of the races I'm running in this year, are on very sandy and gravelly trails, and I'm going to be wearing gaiters. So I like those attachments that companies are putting onto the shoes now. So let's move to that midsole. This has the Fresh Foam X More foam, which is the same as the Fresh Foam More road shoe, the V4 that's out now, but a little bit firmer for the trails, which is nice. This is plenty cushioning, I'll tell you, and softness in cushioning. You definitely don't want any more softer than this shoe, and there probably isn't one out there. In my full review, we'll go into exactly what the grading is on the midsole foam. This cushioning is second to none out there. Second shoe below this in the softness would be the ASICS Trabuca Max 2. Let's look at that outsole. And this is a Vibram sole, 5mm lugs on here, and these things are pretty wide. There probably isn't another shoe on the market today that has wider lugs on the bottom than these right here. On a lot of trail shoes, the lugs are about like 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. These, in some cases, are about 1.25 inches long and maybe 1/2 inch wide and 5mm deep, giving you a lot of traction, but the wideness of these lugs enable you to run on the roads with these shoes too. A lot of ultramarathons now have a lot of road sections or gravel roads that are very hard packed. A race I'm doing this weekend, a 100K race, has a lot of extremely hard gravel roads on it, and these shoes will be perfect. At least I'm going to be wearing these shoes for probably at least half of the race. This has a semi-decoupled outsole. You see on the back, has that split right here, which as you're coming down, what that decoupled sole does, when you're coming down and that foam is compressing, it then splays out. That's what this groove in the middle allows to happen, okay, which then gives you a lot more surface coming down on the ground. All in all, this shoe right now is my #1 trail shoe. In my size 11.5, this shoe is coming in at a hefty 12.2 ounces. A New Balance is saying 11.3 to 11.8 ounces for US men's 9. So you know that this is a little bit heavier shoe than what's out there right now. The Trabuca Max probably has 1 ounce or 2 ounces less than this shoe. But for what this shoe is, with all the cushioning in here and other features on it, for me at least, I don't really feel that weight. I've worn this in a 5-mile mountain trail race. Didn't have any problem with these shoes as far as the weight on them. I know on longer 20-mile training runs, shoe equally did well. My legs didn't get tired at all, at least from the weight of the shoe. The overall look of the shoe, to me, looks fantastic. All the features on it makes for a really good-looking shoe. Get a lot of compliments on it out in the trails and at races. But I'll tell you, this definitely is a clunker of the shoe. It's huge, but again, it's all in the type of shoe that you're looking for. If you're looking for a lot more cushioning, if you're the type of runner like me that does have some hip and knee issues as far as soreness or arthritis setting in, or lower back issues, and you do need that soft cushioning, this is the one to go for. And this is Dr. Dave, your personal run coach. If you have worn the shoe, if you have other questions about the shoe, put them down in the comments, and I guarantee you that I'll answer all of them and get back to you with some personalized comments. We'll see you out in the trails, the streets, and the roads. Take care. Peace.